I think if there's one story, not especially funny, but it's kind of interesting, is the way I got to Nashville. I had graduated from high school and was thinking about I was going to go to college and major in broadcasting, and I was going to Southwest Missouri State there in Springfield, and I walked in the first day of the semester, my first major class, Introduction to Broadcasting, and the professor says, there's just a handful of people in the class. And I'm thinking, this is going to be really cool. And the professor walks in and says, I'm sorry, the class has been canceled due to lack of interest. Oh, man. So it's like, I just get tired of not having any money, you know, and so I drop out and I go to work in this factory making Kentucky Fried Chicken tubs and popcorn tubs, working like third shift, 11 to 7. Well, I do that for 6 months and I get laid off. It's like, okay, the college thing didn't work, the job thing didn't work, now what? So it's like, I've always liked this music thing, maybe I should like take some guitar lessons or something. And so I find this guitar teacher in Springfield and he tells me about a record label in Nashville called Chart Records, that they were looking for artists. Well, I had an old 45 of Lynn Anderson on Chart Records, so we call this guy. Well, long story short, of course this guy turns out to be a rip-off artist. And so, you know, we realized when I'm 20 years old at the time, we make some trips down here. My dad, by the time we realize we've been ripped off, we figure out we need to go to the Attorney General in Nashville. And so we're still living in Missouri at the time. We make trips down here back and forth. And this particular day, we're at the Attorney General's office waiting to see someone, and one of the assistant attorney generals comes out and says, Mr. Nichols, there's an investigator from 60 Minutes on the phone, and they're investigating a story about this Nashville record ripoff. Would you like to speak with him? Yes, I think we would. And so we tell the producer and investigator from 60 Minutes the whole story. They call this guy posing as a wannabe artist. They basically set this guy up. And so me and my dad and Mike Wallace walk in on this guy with like 60 Minutes cameras rolling. And so just from that exposure, you know, 60 Minutes, not bad. And so from that exposure, I met a guy named Si Simon, who was a publisher in Springfield, Missouri. He was just a great guy. He passed away several years ago. And he kind of took me under his wing, and he said he was listening to my bad songs, and he said, you need to be in Nashville. He said, well, actually what he said was, if you want to hunt tigers, you have to go where the tigers are. And so it was a quote I have never forgotten, and I've repeated that quote, probably in almost every interview I've ever done, because it was just so pivotal and it just resonated with me so much. And so that's, you know, in a nutshell, that's how I got to Nashville.